Mamata Kyar, Assistant Professor, Government First Grade College, Tiptur. Now I explain about meaning of standard cost and standard costing, steps in standard costing, merits and demerits of standard costing. The standard costing is an important tool in the hands of management for improving the management control by providing parameters for comparison of actual with these parameters. So first we know the meaning of standard cost. Standard cost are estimates of the actual cost in a company's production process, because actual cost cannot be known in advance. This helps a business to plan a budget. Definition: CIMA of UK has defined standard cost is the predetermined cost based on technical estimates for materials, labor and overhead for a selected period of time for a prescribed set of working conditions. Then standard costing. The meaning of the standard costing. The standard costing is the practice of substituting an expected cost for an actual cost in the accounting records. Subsequently, variances are recorded to show the difference between the expected and actual cost. Definition: CIMA of UK has defined standard costing as the preparation of standard cost and applying them to measure the variations from actual cost and analysis the causes of variations with a view to maintain maximum efficiency in production. The steps in standard costing. Steps in standard costing are: the first one, setting of standard cost for different element of cost. Ascertaining actual cost. Comparing standard with actual cost to determine the variances. Analyzing variances for ascertaining reasons thereof. The last one, reporting of these variances and analysis thereof to management to appropriate actions. And the next, merits or advantages of standard costing. The first one, effective cost control. The most important advantage of standard costing is that it facilitates the control of cost. Control is exercised by comparing actual performance with standard and taking action on the basis of variances. The second one, helps in planning. Establishing standards is a very useful exercise in business planning, which develop the habit of thinking in advance for the managers. Next, provides incentives. The standards provide incentives and motivates to work with greater efforts. This increases efficiency and productivity among workers. Next, fixing prices and formulating policies. Standard costs are a valuable aid to management in determining prices and formulating production policies. Fifth one, facilitates delegation of authority. While executing the work under standard costing, an organization chart is prepared which shows delegated authority and establishes responsibility of each executive. Facilitates coordination. While establishing standards, the performance of different departments such as production, sales, purchase, etc. is taken into account. Thus, through the working of standard cost system, coordination of various functions is achieved. Next, reduced waste. By fixing standards, certain waste such as material wastage, idle time, lost machine hours, etc. are reduced. In the eighth one, valuation of stock. Standard costing simplifies the valuation of stock because the stock is valued at standard cost. Ninth one, management by exception. Reporting of variances is based on the principle of management by exception. The last advantage of standard costing, that is economical and simple. So here, standard costing is an economical and simple means of cost accounting and generally results in a saving in the cost of costing system. So these are all the advantages of standard costing. And the next, that is demerits or disadvantages of standard costing. The first one, that is standard costing, involves the setting up of proper standards. So here, it is difficult to set accurate standards. Improperly and inaccurately set standards may do more harm than good. For instance, if the standards set are very high and cannot be easily achieved, there will be frustrations and a build-up resistance from the employees. On the other hand, if the standards set are very low and can be very easily achieved, then there will not be any improvement in efficiency and productivity. And the next disadvantages, as business conditions constantly keep on changing, it becomes quite essential to revise the standards frequently. But revision of standards at frequent intervals would be costly and it would weaken the effectiveness of measuring performance. Next one, for fixing responsibilities, variances should be regarded into controllable and uncontrollable variance. But it is not easy to distinguish variances as controllable and uncontrollable variances. But it is not easy to distinguish variances as controllable and uncontrollable variances. Standard costing in an expensive technique. So it cannot be adopted by small concern which cannot afford to spend huge amount on cost accounting. And the last one, it is not suitable in job order industries which are manufacturing non-standardized products and jobs, which change according to customers' requirements. In such cases, if standard costing is to be operated upon successfully, the standards are to be set for each individual job. Setting up of standard for each individual job is quite constantly. So, these are all disadvantages of standard costing. It is true that the standard costing suffers from certain limitations, but the limitations of standard costing are not very serious. Further, the advantages of standard costing far outweigh the limitations. So, standard costing is increasingly adopted, especially by large concern.